Welcome to the Wedding Video Boss podcast. I'm your host, Paul Santiago, and today we are at episode 3 Dress to Success. Oh man, oh man, oh man. This is one of my favorite topics. So before we go any deeper, let's do the quotes for the day. I usually do one, I'd like to do one, but for this one, it's so special to me, I'm just gonna do two. First quote is from Academy Award winner Edith Head. And she said, "You can have anything you want in life if you dress for it." Second one from Rachel Zoe, American fashion designer, businesswoman, and I think she's a writer too. She says, "Style is a way to say who you are without having to speak." Now, these quotes may take you into different directions, so before you go running into Nordstrom or Hot Topic, let's talk about the things you need to remember when you try to dress for success. In this segment, I'd like to call You Better Work. Growing up in the Philippines, we were a very middle class family, and my mom worked at a school which was mostly for rich kids. Of course, being a child of a teacher, the school gave my mom a great deal, and we were able to attend the school where she worked at. And as a kid, I didn't really see the difference between me and my friends. But then in high school, my classmates started wearing branded clothing. And let's just say that I was wearing off brand. But my mom was very, very stylish. So we grew up with her dressing us up, and pretty much we had a decent taste. Not as amazing as my mom, but we had the gist of it. And if there's anything I've learned, dressing well is not that different from wearing expensive clothes. Heck, I knew my wife since we were 15, and she thought we were rich the entire time. With that being said, here are the things to remember when you dress for success. Number 1, it makes a good impression. You know this. Imagine going to a networking event or a wedding and you see someone wearing a shirt, jeans, sneakers, flip flops, a large hat, a beanie, pretty much anything that screams, "I'm young and I can do whatever I want." What would you think? If you're a bride or a groom looking to pay a wedding videographer $5,000, would you pay this douchebag? No. Guys, even tech billionaires wear the right clothes for the right occasion. Yes, they wear a black shirt, jeans, sometimes New Balance sneakers, but it's because they can. And I apologize because my Asian brain is going, my mom will scream at me for not dressing up properly. I mean, we're supposed to anyway, right? That's why I love wearing sport coats because it makes any outfit sharper. And that's the only time I get a compliment when I meet someone new or see a friend at a mixer. I always walk in the room, walk up to someone, they're like, "Ooh, nice suit." I'm like, "Thanks." Honestly, I always thought to myself, people overlook me anyway. So I might as well dress up, and then if they decide to talk to me, then they're in for a treat because the sports coat I buy are $20 at the most at JCPenney, and they're great conversation starters. There's no such thing as being overdressed. Number 2, what you're wearing dictates how people will address you. This is a little long, but it's worth it because I saw 2 articles and I took excerpts from them. So here's an excerpt from an article from Forbes magazine written by Carmine Gallio. Sitting backstage at a business conference a few years ago, I asked a military hero the secret to leading a team in a battle. "That's a long answer, Carmine," he said. "But I can tell you it all starts with how you're dressed the first time you meet them. If your pants are wider, your shoes are shinier, and your clothes are better pressed, you'll communicate confidence, a commanding presence. You're telegraphing that you're in charge. Doesn't that make so much sense?" Now, here's another excerpt from Tyler Tervurin's article from Riskology. I used to be a sloppy dresser. I never liked that I had to dress a certain way to get the respect I thought I deserved or get people to listen to me. What a sham, I would tell myself. People should respect me because I know what I'm talking about, not because I'm wearing expensive socks. But then I experienced something that changed my mind completely. Years ago, I was on the bus headed to a friend's house. I knew the neighborhood, but wasn't sure which stop to get off at. The gentleman sitting next to me noticed me looking out the window every few seconds, trying to get my bearings, and asked if I needed help. I told him my predicament, and he confidently told me I should exit in 2 stops. I thanked him for his advice. A moment later, another man standing in the aisle who'd heard my conversation leaned in and said, "Actually, you should get off at the next stop." I thanked him, hopped up, and exited just like he told me, ignoring the advice of the first guy. What was the difference between the two men? And why did I choose to listen to one and not the other? I asked myself the same question as I walked the last few blocks to my friend's place. Look sharp, be sharp. How the clothes you wear change what people hear you say. As I walked away from the bus, I realized in an instant why I listened to one guy and not the other. The man in the aisle was dressed sharply. He looked like he was on his way home from work in a fancy office downtown. My seatmate was wearing sweatpants, had a dark stain on his t shirt, and looked like he might have skipped showering that day. In this moment, I realized just how many preconceived notions and stereotypes were built into my own assumptions of other people. Here I was complaining how people judged me by my clothes, while I did the same to them. Can I trust the instructions of someone who can't be trusted to even keep food off his clothes? I didn't mean to make this judgment. It was simply years of social conditioning taking over. My decision process went into autopilot. If you want people to listen to you, there's an important lesson here. Dress the message. The clothes that you wear and the way you groom yourself will change the way other people hear what you say. It will subconsciously tell them if you're like them or if you're different. It will determine whether they listen or ignore, trust or distrust. I worked as a second for other videographer companies before. And whenever there's important information that needs to be conveyed from the staff of the coordinators or the staff of the catering or photographer, they approached me initially because they assumed that I was the lead shooter. You get what I'm saying? Number 3, it will change your mood. I started gaining weight in my 30s, and I felt so depressed and down that I just wanted to hide in my house every time there's an important event. One day I realized, what if I wear a sport coat on top of what I'm wearing? That way I could hide all my dangerous curves and at the same time look presentable. And so I did. What I didn't know was, while I was thinking that I was wearing the security blanket, I was also feeling great about myself. Every time I lost a few pounds, my clothes felt more comfortable. I lose more and it started to feel loose. I started working out, watching what I ate, and it just became this rewarding journey that helped me not only become healthier but also emotionally lifted. Number 4, it's a step to overall self improvement, which is kind of like number 3. But putting the effort into what you wear and how you look will have positive effects on your overall lifestyle. So slowly but surely, you're going to be confident, and then you're going to see yourself as a better person. And then, of course, people are going to notice, and then they're going to treat you differently because you have this different aura with you. So it's pretty much going to start changing your life. One small thing at a time, one day at a time. Number 5, this is the most important for me as a business owner. And I've seen so many people fail this part. Number 5 is dress like how much you charge. Let me give you a scenario. Imagine going out for a nice dinner, say like a high-end restaurant. This restaurant is so in demand that you need at least 6 months in advance to make reservations, overlooking the ocean. So romantic, right? The best cut of steak in town. Your host checks you in, gives you the best seat in the house, and hands you the menu. You look at the menu and it's laminate, it's worn down, the font's all smeared because it's been used for years. You can barely see the photos, and the prices are covered with a sticker of a new price. Have you ever seen that before? So you figure, hey, I've seen this before, I've read the reviews, it said they're good, so maybe it's not that bad. You think you know what you want, call the waiter, you're ready to order. Waiter approaches you. First thing you see is the name of this classy restaurant in bold letters on his shirt, like they just came from a family reunion. Which, by the way, is untucked. Jeans are those new old torn jeans. And the sneakers, let's just say you immediately know that this person had a lot of experience skateboarding. Do you get it yet? You are an extension of your brand. It's not just for you to feel good and to be treated properly. It's also for your client. It gives them a sense of ease when they see the person working their wedding, walking or running around, but looking really professional. Bottom line is, you dress up because you're working. We're already a small business. You don't need to tell people that you're broke by looking like a hobo. Imagine being the owner of the company, which you are, and your employees come to work all sloppy and demotivated. It'll affect your mood and your brand. So always remember, from the great Roy T. Bennett, make improvements, not excuses. Seek respect, not attention. Thanks for hearing me out. I really appreciate it. I would love to hear how this episode was for you, so feel free to reach out. All this information I'm giving away for free, so the only thing that's going to help me is if you rate, subscribe, and leave a review. And I'll see you on the next episode of The Wedding Video Boss. Till then, play nice if you can't win. Be nice, especially if you're good looking. Boss man out.